rising costs, and market uncertainty. Okay? So Social Security, let me ask you a question. How many people today are working for every one person getting Social Security? 4? Very close. It's 3.3. 50 years ago, how many people were working for every one person getting Social Security? 16. So 16 people were working for every one person getting Social Security. In 20 years, it's going to be down to 2 to 1. So a lot of people are looking at Social Security and counting on Social Security to fund a lot of their retirement. One thing I'll tell you, I think everyone, it depends on, I see some hands up, plan on Social Security. I really believe it's going to be there, but I think they are going to tweak it, and we'll look at Social Security a little bit later in the presentation, but you need to look at it. Next is pension plans. Oh, sorry. How many people have a pension plan in the room? 3. 4, a couple behind me. Well, before it used to be, hey, you worked, you got a gold watch, you retired, and the company continued to pay you. Now, unfortunately, it's really the onus has become on you. Now you have to fund your own retirement through 401ks, IRAs, so on and so forth. And then the next, we're going to talk about healthcare costs. So, retirement red zone, that's something that Prudential was kind of framed. The retirement red zone used to be the 5 years before you retired and the 5 years after you retired, are really that critical time. Well, because of the last decade, and more importantly 2008, I think that time frame has come back a little bit farther. I really think you have to start looking 10 years before you retire and 10 years after you retire. So we're going to talk about that as well. So, right here, some of you in the back probably can't read this, but you can see there's a husband and a wife, and it says if we take a late retirement and an early death, we'll just squeak by. Well, no one wants to plan their retirement and live in retirement that way, right? I mean, everyone wants to become comfortable, maintain their living, pass money to their children, so on and so forth. And that's why it's very critical to work with a financial advisor to accomplish these goals. Right here, the good news, bad news, longevity. Who in here knows somebody that's 100? Anyone? I know 2 people now that are 100. But right now, a couple that is both 65 years old, a 63% chance one is going to live to 90, and a 36% chance one is going to live to 95. And that's why when we start planning for retirement, we're not looking 5 years out, 2 years out, 10 years out. We have to plan for 35 years out and more. Okay? Life expectancy. Between 1950 and 2010, it's increased, obviously a lot. And I think it's going to continue to increase, and most of that's due to all the medical advances that have been made. Okay? But what that does, it translates, now you need to make another 120 retirement payments to yourself if you live that long. Inflation. Asha talked a little bit about inflation. If you're planning on living with $50,000 right now, in 5 years at a 3% inflation rate, in 10 years, you're going to need $67,000. In 20 years, that jumps up to $90,000. In 30 years, $121,000. One thing we see a lot of people do in retirement, when they retire, they have their nest egg and they have to conserve it. And they worry about it, and they want very, very, very safe investments. Right now, if you go to the bank and buy a CD, you're not, what's the rate you're getting? You're not getting a good rate. But we see people become too conservative with their money in retirement, and what happens is their money does not keep up with inflation. So again, it's very important to sit down with somebody, talk about the market, and make sure you're in the right investments. The next is healthcare. Look at this. From 2000 to 2009, healthcare rose 149%. 4 times faster than the average income. And, with the new healthcare bill and everything like that, we'll see what happens to healthcare. But a lot of people now are setting aside money just for healthcare expenses in retirement. Essentially, it's a healthcare pension. I may use it, I may not. But I know if I'm 85 or 90, I have it there in case I need in-home care, in case I need to go into a nursing facility. Okay? So, right now, a couple that's both 65, the estimated cost for healthcare and retirement is $260,000. And that's right now. So again, I mean, it's one thing that people really need to plan for. Look at 1945. Top bracket, 94% was the tax bracket. The lowest was 23. And this says 2011. We know we're 35 and 10 right now. We'll see. We all talked about the deficits, and this next we'll kind of talk about it more. We'd have to double right now tax rates across every single income spectrum in order to close the deficit. Just close it. We pay more in taxes than we spend on food, clothing, and shelter combined last year. But I think there's one thing for certain, and it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, it's not political at all, but I really think moving forward, we're going to end up paying more taxes. And again, there's vehicles out there that you can talk to with Asha, your financial advisor, to help you minimize paying those taxes in retirement. We talk about Social Security. You know, growing up, I always thought Social Security, they gave you a check, it was tax-free, and off you went. But that's not the case. If you're single, right now, if you're making above $34,000, 85% of that Social Security payment is taxable. If you're married and you're taking income over $44,000, again, 85% of that Social Security is taxable. And again, I think this is where they're going to make some changes to Social Security. It's how they tax it, how much they tax it, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at market, because this graph here, we're saving for retirement. We have $500,000. We have 2 great years in the market. It grows to $616,000. And if we say, okay, we want to take income off that, or 5%, it's $30,000. So we're well on our way for retirement. All of a sudden, 2008 happens. That 616 becomes 424. If we want to take that same 5% off of that, our income dropped from $30,000 to $21,000. So the question is, we wanted the $30,000 for retirement. How do we get that back? If we wanted it back, we would need a 45% return in 1 year to get back to that 616. If we had 5 years to wait, we still would have had to average 8% in the market every single year to get back to that 616. So again, right before we retire or right after we retire, again, it's very important to look at your investments and make sure they're allocated correctly and also in the right different products. So we talked about one thing that a lot of people are doing now. We always talk about asset allocation, and I know Asha talked about asset allocation, but one thing 2008 also taught us is we have to be product allocated as well. So before, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, so on and so forth. Now there's a lot of different products out there that have changed quite a bit to help you get through retirement. And one is a variable annuity. Now it's not perfect for everyone in this room, and there's a lot of different very good variable annuities out there. And Asha works with a couple different variable annuities, and they fit in different places. But one thing the annuity can do is, we saw how the market went down, is we look at that account value every single day, and I want you to think of this almost as a personal pension, where we lock in that account value regardless of what the market does, and then give you a guaranteed income stream for the rest of your life that can't go down. So if you need $10,000 or $15,000 in retirement, you know you're going to get that payment every single month for the rest of your life, and it can't go down. So that's where... What's up?
Until the company goes bad, yeah.
Yep, and that's a very important... Well, he made a very, very good point. He goes, until the company goes belly up. And that's one thing to really to pay attention to when you look at insurance products or any companies, is how strong is the insurance company behind you. You know?
First 10, 15 years, it's not like that. We invest today and tomorrow and
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's the big thing. There's a lot of insurance companies out there that sell different products. The key is to take a look at them. How strong are they? So on and so forth.
Did many insurance companies selling annuities? I very
No. Well, I mean, in 2008, when pretty much every single financial institution was in trouble,
Right.
okay?
I
Prudential and MetLife, the two biggest insurers, were fine. The government offered us TARP. We said thank you, but no thank you, we don't need it. So if you look at the stock and you look at the assets under management, and the other thing is you look at the business mix. You know, we have 900 billion under management, and that's Prudential.
What I'm saying, you see the Wall Street Journal, failure of banks every week. I don't remember seeing anywhere the failure of the insurance companies.
No, and the other thing about insurance companies, whenever an insurance company gets in trouble, another insurance company in the history has always gone in and taken on their liabilities. Okay, because without that, why buy insurance? If the, okay, yeah, and there's also, what we do is for annuities and for every product, life insurance or any, we set aside that money so we know we have the money for the claims. Okay, so, yeah, it's actually 4 for every one we own. For every dollar we owe, we have 4 set aside. So, you know, you look at the insurance companies out there and you look at a lot of the financial institutions out there. You look at the government. I mean, you just saw what happened with the debt ceiling and everything there. A lot of the insurance companies and a lot of the big financial institutions are very well positioned right now, and they have a lot of money on the books. But the key is to actually take a look. I mean, I run into insurance companies all the time, and I'm like, who is that? So make sure you know who the insurance company is, how strong they are. I think that's one of the biggest things, because the guarantees that you buy are only as good as the company that is backing it. So one thing that an annuity, they've changed quite a bit from when they were first came out. You know, everyone remembers the first cell phone. You carry it in a briefcase, and you have to take it out. Now, you can do pretty much whatever you want on a cell phone. Annuities have not escalated that much, but they've changed quite a bit. Here are some of the benefits. One, professionally managed investment options. When I first started selling in annuities, I had 12 funds that people could invest in. Now, when Asha went through all the different asset classes, you can invest in pretty much anything you want inside the annuity. Currency, commodities, so on and so forth. The next is tax deferral. You pay zero money while you're in the, zero money to taxes while you're in the variable annuity. Standard death benefit protection. If you invest $100,000 today in a mutual fund, and in 6 months from now it's worth $80,000, and something happens to you, your beneficiaries get $80,000. If you buy the annuity, and again it's worth $80,000, and something happens to you in 6 months, your beneficiaries get that $100,000 back. So
Tax deferral is based on laws, not just like.
yes, every annuity grows tax deferred. It works just like a 401k or an IRA.
Unlimited, like if you put $1 million in that, means that tax deferred.
Yes. So if you put $2 million in, it's going to grow tax deferred until you start taking income payments out. Okay.
But you don't find like a Roth IRA annuity?
Sure, you can do a Roth inside the annuity, and what's great about doing a Roth in the annuity, then the money comes out tax-free, and the death benefit, or all the money you pass on to your beneficiaries, is also tax-free. So we see a lot of people doing Roth IRAs and annuities now. And then optional and living benefits. You know, they call it living benefits because they're benefits that you use as you're living. One thing I will tell you, if anyone has an annuity right now, one thing that's good to do is take a look at it. They've changed quite a bit. So especially if they're older than 5 years, I would call Asha and say, hey, can we review this to make sure I'm in the right product? Because the products have changed quite a bit. It might have been the best annuity you could get 5 years ago, but and just like anything else, things do change, and it's good to always review them and take a look at it. So again, the big thing is, when it comes to retirement and retirement planning, annuity will be a piece. It will not be all your whole retirement plan, but it will be a piece. The most important thing to do is sit down and make a plan. She went through the mistakes people make in retirement. I think the biggest mistake is not taking the time to plan it out. And I would review that plan at least twice a year. and make sure you're on roll and on track, because the markets are very volatile right now, as we all know. They're going up and down, up and down. So it's very important to work with someone to make sure that your retirement is on track. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to pass it back to Asha, but thank you all for your time. If anyone has any questions, I'll be around about annuities or specific cases. I'll be around, just grab me.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
You said all the insurance companies are all well set. How would I know?
I didn't say all of them. I said prudential, where we are structured. One, there's a couple different things. What do you look at? How do you look at an insurance company to make sure they're strong? The first thing to do is look at the rate.
I caught your statement saying all the insurance companies are well funded and they are unlikely to go belly up. Is that what I got?
No.
Am I wrong?
Prudential, my company, Prudential as well. But I would not say all insurance companies.
I misheard you.
Yeah.
But maybe a better clue is that if you look at the insurance company, if they are licensed to write policies in states where the insurance commissioners are good and watchwords, like state of New York and Massachusetts,
Yeah.
if they're licensed to do business, then you're likely to be in a better shape than anywhere else, as opposed to, say, in Alabama.
Sure. And that's a very good point. New York and Massachusetts are the most stringent when it comes to insurance. And each state
Even
has a...
California.
And
I
California.
don't know, but those I know.
Yeah, even California. But
I have a question.
Sure.
Now, if you have annuity, there is of course portfolio of money is invested. Do you need to worry about where the money is invested in
Yes.
the
Yes, you
portfolio
do.
and under annuity?
Sure, and that's a great question. I don't know if everyone heard it. The question was, if you buy an annuity, do you have to worry about where the money's invested?
You know, because they have
Yes.
received growth, balance, and all those kinds of
Definitely.
things.
It affects the performance of your portfolio and how you can minimize your risk. Like, let's say if you
Because
are,
they give you guaranteed income. That's the question
No.
is. The annuity gives you guaranteed income.
Right, the annuity will give you guaranteed income, but if the investments grow in the market, your income goes up.
Yes, that's
Your
right.
income goes up, so you definitely want to take a look at how it's invested and with your risk
you want to
profile.
follow the stop loss formula.
We can.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think the market will do?
Well, we are going to make money anyway, whether the market is up or down.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you, Casey. Actually, thank you, Casey. Yeah, we just wanted to tell you that, like everything else, all investments are not the same, no matter, how you look at that. There are some small differences could be there and which can really, help your portfolio. And Casey, it's like I was talking to him that one of the things, guarantor fund, which is very important. So whenever you buy the annuity, be aware of that. That on insurance product too, like life insurance policies, every insurance company are required to keep at least 2 times the money what they guarantee you to give. So that's why people say it's too good to be true, but it's not too good to be true because the insurance company charge you for that. And when the client asks me, oh, the expenses are higher, I says, oh, I'm glad that you know that you are paying for something because they are not giving you for free, so you know that. And the second part of your question is that if I'm in the annuity, can I invest anywhere and get the income throughout my life? True, but at the same time, you should be focused also that I want to maintain my account value. And how can I maintain my account value? Because it's very important for the death benefit, very important in case you want to liquidate your account for some reason, you are taking the income for 10 years, all of a sudden you need the money. So you say, okay, I have invested $500,000, I'm left with only $100,000 if the account is not asset allocated very well. But if it is asset allocated and managed very well, you may have $300,000-400,000 still to take the money from. So yes, so we have like lot of small details there which can help the clients maximize their goals, reaching their goals as well, maximize their income too. And there are a lot of different annuities there, a lot of different products out there, and you can do the annuity in the different ways. Invest non-qualified money, that means the money you are earning and you are paying taxes. You can do into your Roth IRA, you can do into your IRA account, and like people who are working for the hospitals and people who are working for the schools, they can do even in the 403B plans. And I'm working with some clients in the 403B plans where we are going to invest their money looking to that direction. So annuities are option and they are more acceptable now, and there used to be a big taboo 10 years ago because this is something people are creating their private pension. And I don't know myself that if I retire after 15 years or whatever time frame, if I'm going to have a social security. So I need to think about it today. So that's the way I can think about how I'm going to create it, So, well, thank you very much for your time. Yeah.
Unless I missed you telling us, can you tell us something about the importance of nursing home insurance and long-term insurance?
Importance of long-term insurance?
Yes.
Okay, importance of long-term insurance.
Nursing home.
Nursing homes, okay. When you have a long-term insurance, and there are a couple of different type of long-term insurances are. One type of long-term insurance is promises you that they are going to give you principal back. Let's say if you bought it today and it's from the money guard, I will tell you up front. It's from the money guard and that is sold by the Lincoln National, and I do the long-term care too. And there what they do is basically that they have different options. So let's say you put $50,000. With $50,000, roughly you can buy 5 times the long-term care. And that long-term care is good for you even in home, in the assisted living, nursing care, or any place else if you need the help. Only thing is you have to qualify for that disability in a definition. And disability definition is that if you are not able to perform 3 activities out of 5 activities, then you have waiting time is, they call it the elimination period, and the elimination period could be 90 days or 60 days. So depending upon, you pay the premium. That's the one thing, that you pay the lump sum and then you buy it. So it buys you 5 times long term and 3 times it buys you the life insurance policy also. But if somebody has acute health issues, they may look into that too. They may not give you also. The second thing is like car insurance. You pay as you go. That means like we all have to have a car insurance. If you don't have the car insurance, what happened? You get in the accident, you come up with a bill, $50,000, you have to pay from your pocket. Same thing. So you're paying $300 per month, $200 per month for your long-term care, and that is like help you and do the same things, and you can buy the long-term care depending upon how much help you need, or you can take the maximum, or you can take the minimum, or you can take the in between. So there are all different tweaks are there, all different features are there, but remember whenever you buy, remember buy with a good company. That's the important suggestion I have.
Thank you very much, Asha and Casey from Wells Fargo. As we see a lot of volatility in the markets today and economic downturn, and most of our portfolios are out of the money, it makes more sense than ever to think not only for yourself, and as our children get to beyond college and start working, early retirement planning for them is never late than ever, because they're going to see much harder turmoil than what we are going to go through.
So I would like to thank Prudential for providing us little lights. Everybody is traveling, so they can take one. And if you don't get, please let me know. I have few.
What is it?
Just the small lights,
Flash lights.
put it in your purse or in your
Security.
Okay, we move to the next part of our agenda.